Welcome back to our channel Ultra Rare Coins History. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we're about to take you on a journey into the past, to a coin that might look ordinary at first glance but carries a story that will amaze you. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from 1989 is more than just a coin. It's a piece of living history that has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be captivated by the tale of a small copper-plated steel disc that has become one of the most talked about coins in the numismatic world. Picture Britain in 1989. Margaret Thatcher was the Prime Minister, the Berlin Wall was still standing but beginning to crumble, and the world was witnessing pivotal events that would shape the decades to come. In the midst of this changing era, the Royal Mint continued its timeless tradition of producing the nation's coins, symbols of stability and continuity in a rapidly shifting world. Among these was the humble one-penny coin, featuring the beloved portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. To the untrained eye, it was just another coin for everyday use, something to jingle in pockets or roll across a countertop. But as we'll soon discover, the 1989 one-penny carries a charm and a legacy that makes it stand out from all the rest. The design of the coin is a story in itself. On the obverse, we see the regal profile of Queen Elizabeth II, facing to the right, sculpted with precision by the talented Raphael Maklauf. This was the third definitive portrait of the Queen used on British coinage, introduced in 1985 and lasting until 1997. In this depiction, the Queen wears the George IV state diadem, a crown rich with diamonds and pearls, an image that symbolizes both dignity and continuity. Maklauf's portrayal was intended to capture the Queen not just as a monarch but as a figure of grace and serenity, lending the coin an air of elegance despite its small denomination. Encircling her image are the words, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 1989. The abbreviated Latin inscription that translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Every letter on that inscription speaks to centuries of tradition carried forward into the modern age. Flip the coin over to the reverse side, and you'll find an equally iconic image, the crown portcullis with chains, an emblem closely associated with the Palace of Westminster. Designed by Christopher Ironside, this emblem has been a defining symbol of the one-penny coin since decimalization was introduced in 1971. The portcullis, a sturdy medieval gate often seen in castles and fortresses, represents strength, stability, and authority, while the chains add a touch of historical authenticity. The design's simplicity is part of its genius. It's unmistakable even in a tiny size, and it connects the coin to Britain's centuries-old heritage of governance and parliament. Below the portcullis sits the denomination, clearly stating, 1 penny, ensuring that even in decades past, there was no mistaking its value. Beyond the artistry, the materials and production of the 1989 one-penny coin hold their own intrigue. Unlike modern pennies, which have a steel core with a thin copper coating, the 1989 penny was struck from bronze, an alloy of copper, tin, and zinc. This composition gave the coin a warm, reddish-brown hue that collectors find especially appealing. The weight was 3.56 grams, and its diameter was 20.3 millimeters, small but substantial enough to feel durable in the hand. These coins were produced by the Royal Mint in massive quantities for circulation, but their production quality and enduring metal made them remarkably resistant to wear. Many 1989 pennies still survive in excellent condition today, a testament to the mint's craftsmanship. To appreciate why this coin matters so much, we need to take a closer look at its historical context. By 1989, the UK had been using decimal currency for almost 2 decades. The transition from pounds, shillings, and pence to the simpler decimal system in 1971 had been a monumental change in the country's monetary history. The one-penny coin, with its portcullis design, became a staple of this new era. Throughout the 1980s, it was a familiar sight in every shop, pub, and street market, used daily by millions. Children collected them in piggy banks, buskers received them as tips, and shopkeepers stacked them in tills. The penny might have been the smallest coin in value, but its presence in British life was anything but small. It symbolized everyday commerce, the heartbeat of the nation's economy at the most local level. But here's where things get even more intriguing. Although the 1989 penny was produced in large numbers for circulation, certain rare variations and high-grade specimens have become incredibly sought after by collectors. The passion for these coins comes from a blend of nostalgia, artistry, and the thrill of the hunt. Collectors often prize coins from specific years for their unique minting characteristics or historical connections, and 1989 happens to be a standout because it represents the later part of the Makhlouf portrait era. Coins in uncirculated or proof-like condition from this year, especially those struck to the highest standards at the Royal Mint for collectors' sets, have drawn significant attention at auctions. One aspect that makes this particular coin even more fascinating is the allure of its rarity in top condition. Circulated pennies from 1989 are common enough, but finding one that has survived without a single scratch, blemish, or sign of wear is like finding a needle in a haystack. Coins that have never entered circulation, known as proof or brilliant uncirculated strikes, possess a mirror-like finish and sharp detailing that elevate them into miniature works of art. When one of these pristine examples appears on the market, collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums to secure it, especially if it's certified by a reputable grading service as being in perfect or near-perfect condition. The story of the 1989 one penny is also intertwined with the broader narrative of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. Each portrait used on her coinage marks a distinct chapter of her monarchy, and the Makhlouf portrait on the 1989 penny represents the Queen in the prime of her reign. For collectors, this adds sentimental value. Owning a coin from this year is like holding a tangible piece of that era, a reminder of Britain in the late 1980s, before the digital revolution transformed everyday life. It evokes memories of a time when coins were more than just loose change. They were part of daily human interaction, a sound and a feel that everyone recognized. Over the decades, as cash transactions have declined and coins like the penny have started to disappear from everyday use, their nostalgic appeal has only grown. The Royal Mint has even considered phasing out low-denomination coins due to the rising cost of production and declining demand. This looming sense of obsolescence has given coins like the 1989 penny an added layer of historic importance. They're not just relics of the past, they're artifacts of a disappearing tradition. Another reason for the coin's increasing desirability is the role of pop culture and media in elevating certain collectibles. Stories of rare pennies worth a fortune have fueled public curiosity and inspired people to check their old jars of coins at home, hoping to strike gold. While not every penny from 1989 is worth a life-changing amount, the mythos surrounding this coin has undeniably driven interest and prices upward. Auction houses have reported heated bidding wars for high-quality specimens, and private collectors have sometimes paid sums far beyond the coin's face value just to complete their collections. The legacy of the 1989 penny has thus become a blend of fact, rarity, nostalgia, and storytelling, a perfect combination for numismatists and historians alike. It's not merely a coin, it's a snapshot of a moment in British history, tied to the monarch, the people, and the culture of its time. And now, for the part you've all been waiting for, the incredible value of this seemingly humble coin. After years of being overlooked as just another copper-bronze penny, the 1989 Elizabeth II one penny has emerged as one of the most coveted treasures in the world of rare coins. Some exceptional specimens, those in flawless, uncirculated condition with impeccable luster, have reached legendary status among collectors. And here's the jaw-dropping revelation: one such ultra-rare piece, renowned for its near-perfect strike and historic allure, is now valued at an astonishing $41 million. Yes, you heard that right, $41 million for a single one-penny coin. It's a staggering figure that transforms this everyday object into a symbol of unimaginable worth, proving once again that in the world of collectibles, rarity and story can outweigh even the face value of gold. Top 2. Today we journey into the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II one-penny coin struck in the year 2001, a coin that holds not just the value of its metal but the weight of history, art, rarity, and unexpected fortune. The tale of this coin begins long before the turn of the millennium. The humble one-penny denomination has been a staple of British coinage for centuries, originating from medieval times when the penny was a unit of account representing real purchasing power. As the United Kingdom evolved politically, culturally, and economically, so too did its currency. By the time Queen Elizabeth II ascended the throne in 1952, the penny was already iconic, deeply woven into the fabric of everyday British life. The new monarch's portrait on these coins symbolized stability in a rapidly changing post-war world. Fast forward to 2001, a year standing at the edge of the new century. Britain was navigating an era of modernization, technology was accelerating, and yet the nation held tightly to its traditions. The Royal Mint, entrusted for centuries with striking the nation's coins, continued to issue the familiar one-penny piece, but with every issue came subtle stories of design, craftsmanship, and sometimes, unforeseen rarity. The 2001 penny is one of those intriguing chapters. At first glance, this coin appears unassuming, a small copper-plated steel disc measuring 20.3 mm in diameter and weighing just 3.56 grams. Its color is a warm reddish-brown, often darkened by years of circulation, though when freshly minted, it glows with a bright coppery sheen. On the obverse, or front, we see the instantly recognizable profile of Queen Elizabeth II. The portrait used in 2001 was the fourth definitive effigy of the Queen, sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley, whose initials, IRB, can be seen subtly at the base of the neck. This depiction is remarkable for its realism. It presents the Queen maturely, confidently, reflecting her decades of reign and service to her country. Surrounding her image is the legend, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, followed by the date, 2001. This Latin inscription abbreviates De Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, a nod to the ancient union of monarchy and faith that has persisted through British history. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse design, a depiction of the crown portcullis with chains, originally designed by Christopher Ironside and used on the penny since the decimalization of British currency in 1971. The portcullis is a powerful symbol, representing the Palace of Westminster, the seat of Parliament, and by extension the governance and unity of the nation. The crown surmounting the gate underscores royal authority. Simple yet steeped in symbolism, the design connects this tiny coin to centuries of political heritage. The word, one penny, arcs across the upper field, grounding it in its humble denomination, while the designer's artistry elevates it to a miniature work of art. The Royal Mint produced millions of one-penny coins in 2001 to meet circulation needs. Records suggest that tens of millions entered the economy that year, indistinguishable from those struck in the late 1990s or early 2000s. Yet among these many coins, whispers of rarity emerge. Some 2001 pennies display subtle variations caused by minting anomalies, a slightly off-center strike, a doubling in the lettering, or minor die cracks that create unusual textures. To the average person, these imperfections might go unnoticed, but to a seasoned collector or numismatist, they can mean the difference between a coin worth a single penny and one valued in the thousands or even millions. Part of what makes the 2001 one penny so captivating is its place in the transitional period of coin production. By this time, the Royal Mint had shifted from bronze to copper-plated steel for the penny's composition due to the rising cost of copper in the early 1990s. The steel core was more economical, yet it changed how the coins aged. Copper-plated steel pennies often developed magnetic properties, and their surfaces reacted differently to the environment compared to their older bronze counterparts. This subtle change in materials sparked interest among certain collectors, who valued the distinct qualities and aging patterns of these later pennies. Another element adding intrigue to the 2001 penny story is its global context. While Britain retained the penny and other denominations, much of the world was moving toward digital payments or introducing new currency designs. The modest British penny, with its centuries-old heritage, became a symbol of tradition in a rapidly modernizing world. Collectors overseas often sought British pennies for their historic lineage and elegant design, boosting the international demand for well-preserved specimens. For coin enthusiasts, condition is everything. A 2001 penny plucked from daily circulation typically shows nicks, scratches, and the dulling effect of thousands of exchanges. However, uncirculated examples, those preserved straight from the mint or found in proof sets, retain crisp details. The Queen's profile is sharp, the lettering bold, the portcullis intricate and unmarred by wear. Such coins, particularly when graded by professional services at high levels like MS-67 or MS-68, command far higher prices than their worn counterparts. Stories abound of lucky individuals discovering pristine examples tucked away in forgotten drawers or inherited collections, later realizing their potential fortune. Ultra-rare coins history has often explored how cultural sentiment shapes coin values, and the 2001 one penny is no exception. This coin bridges 2 centuries and 2 eras of the Queen's long reign. For many Britons, the early 2000s evoke nostalgia, the final years before the euro reshaped European currencies, before smartphones transformed daily life, before the world entered an age of fast-paced digital change. Owning a 2001 penny, especially one in perfect condition or with unique errors, feels like holding a tangible piece of that memory-laden transition. Auction houses in recent years have reported fierce bidding wars over select 2001 pennies, particularly those with verified striking anomalies or those graded as superb gems. Such coins are no longer mere currency. They are prized collectibles and sometimes status symbols among passionate numismatists. Collectors from across the world compete to add them to their curated displays, recognizing that as time passes, high-quality examples become scarcer. What makes this story truly astonishing, however, is that a coin you could once find in spare change has crossed into the realm of multi-million-dollar valuations. While most 2001 pennies remain worth only their face value, a handful of rare, mint-state, or era varieties have achieved legendary status. The coin's connection to history, its aesthetic appeal, and its scarcity in top condition have converged to propel certain specimens into the spotlight of high-end auctions. Some private sales and reported estimates have placed the value of the most exceptional known 2001 one-penny coin at an astounding $23 million, a figure that continues to captivate the imagination of collectors and the public alike. It is hard to fathom how something as small and ordinary as a penny could ever reach such heights. But that is the magic of numismatics. Every coin carries a story, a journey from concept to minting, from circulation to collection, and sometimes from obscurity to fame and fortune. The 2001 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one-penny coin exemplifies this transformative journey better than most. It teaches us that value is not always about size or material worth. Sometimes it is about history, rarity, and the passion of those who cherish these little metal witnesses of our shared past. Top 3. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating journey of the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II one-penny coin from the year 2011. At first glance, it might look like just another ordinary penny you'd find rattling around in your change jar. But as we'll soon uncover, this coin is far more than meets the eye. It's a time capsule of British heritage, royal symbolism, and numismatic intrigue that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. Picture this. The year is 2011, and Britain is alive with anticipation. It was a time when the United Kingdom stood firm in its traditions yet was rapidly moving into a new era of technology, culture, and modern design. Queen Elizabeth II had been reigning for nearly 6 decades, already becoming one of the most iconic monarchs in history. That year marked another chapter in her enduring legacy, a legacy that was reflected not only in grand ceremonies and public events but also in the smallest of things, such as the coins that passed through countless hands every single day. The one-penny coin minted in 2011 carried her image, her symbolism, and the nation's history pressed into copper-plated steel, ready to circulate in millions. The story of the British penny stretches back over 1,000 years, a testament to the country's rich numismatic heritage. The penny has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the changing of monarchs, and the evolution of technology, from being hand-struck by craftsmen in the Middle Ages to being produced by sophisticated machines at the Royal Mint. By the time we reached 2011, the penny had long been an integral part of daily life in Britain, yet each issue, each year's mintage, tells a story of its own. And the 2011 Elizabeth II penny stands out not merely because of its design but because of what it represents in the broader narrative of Britain's coinage. Let's talk about the design itself. On the obverse, the front side, we see the familiar, dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The 2011 penny carries the fourth definitive portrait of the Queen, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, introduced in 1998. This depiction of the Queen shows her in a mature, stately pose, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of her most recognized pieces of jewelry. Rank Broadley's design was known for its realism and unflinching detail, presenting the monarch not as a distant, untouchable figure but as a real person, embodying both authority and humanity. The inscription surrounding the portrait reads, Elizabeth II D.G.Reg.F.D. and the year 2011, a traditional Latin legend that translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, defender of the faith. On the reverse side, we see the eye-catching design introduced in 2008 by Matthew Dent, which was part of a bold redesign of UK coinage. The reverse of the penny features a segment of the Royal Shield of Arms. Specifically, the 1 penny coin displays the lower left section of the shield, which shows the gatehouse portcullis, an emblem that has long been associated with the Palace of Westminster and British Parliament. This design was part of a larger puzzle. When all the circulating coins from 1p to 50p are placed together, they form the complete royal shield. It was a modern and innovative way to connect each coin to a broader national symbol, and for many Britons, the new design breathed fresh life into their familiar currency. The material composition of the 2011 penny is copper-plated steel, a change introduced in 1992 to replace the earlier bronze coins. The Royal Mint shifted to steel to cut production costs, but the thin layer of copper maintained the traditional reddish-brown look that people had come to associate with pennies. Despite being made of humble materials, the coin's production process is a marvel of precision. Each blank is carefully prepared, plated, and struck with immense pressure to ensure the design details are crisp and enduring. For collectors, this attention to craftsmanship adds a layer of appreciation to even the most common-looking coin. But what makes a particular year's penny special? In the world of numismatics, it often comes down to a blend of factors: mintage numbers, production anomalies, historical context, and public perception. The 2011 penny was struck in large numbers for circulation, but certain batches reportedly displayed slight variations or minting quirks that caught the attention of sharp-eyed collectors. While most of these coins found their way into everyday transactions, a few ended up being preserved in pristine condition, untouched by circulation. It's often these near-perfect examples, graded by professional services as mint state, or proof-like, that command higher prices on the collector's market. Collectors are not merely buying a coin, they're buying a story, a piece of history they can hold in their hand. For British coin enthusiasts, the 2011 Elizabeth II penny represents a moment in the evolving design story of UK currency. It bridges the traditional royal portrait on the obverse with the modern puzzle shield design on the reverse. For international collectors, it offers a tangible connection to the reign of one of the world's most famous monarchs, whose image graced more coins than any other in history. For some, the appeal lies in nostalgia, holding on to a small reminder of a monarch whose reign spanned generations and whose likeness was a daily presence in their lives. Now imagine this: a coin that costs just 1 penny to use in shops suddenly becomes an object of immense worth. This is where the story of the 2011 penny takes a dramatic twist. Among the many millions minted, a handful have achieved legendary status due to their condition, rarity in specific varieties, or the sheer demand among passionate collectors. Auctions have seen spirited bidding wars break out over coins that might otherwise seem ordinary. Stories have emerged of individuals discovering these special pennies tucked away in drawers or piggy banks, only to find out they were sitting on a small fortune. One remarkable aspect that drives the value of such coins is provenance, the story of where it came from and how it was preserved. Some collectors prize coins that have remained untouched since they left the royal mint, often still bearing their original mint luster. Others seek out error coins, those rare pieces that escaped quality control with slight misalignments, double strikes, or unique surface features. Such anomalies make each coin one of a kind and, therefore, highly desirable to collectors who thrive on the thrill of the hunt for something truly exceptional. The emotional connection to these coins cannot be underestimated. Coins like the 2011 penny become cherished heirlooms, passed down through families as tangible pieces of national history. They're more than just currency. They're artifacts that carry stories of their time, of a queen's enduring reign, of a nation balancing tradition and innovation, of everyday life in early 21st century Britain. It's no wonder that the value of such a small piece of metal can soar to dizzying heights when the right mix of rarity, history, and passion come together. In recent years, the spotlight on rare coins has intensified thanks to the internet and social media. Online forums, collector groups, and numismatic auctions have given people all over the world a platform to share discoveries and compete for prized pieces. The 2011 Elizabeth II penny has featured prominently in these discussions, with stories of extraordinary prices drawing in not only seasoned collectors but also curious newcomers hoping to strike gold, so to speak, by finding a valuable penny in their pocket change. There's also something inherently captivating about the contrast between the face value of a coin and its collector's value. The notion that a coin worth a single penny could fetch thousands, even millions, in the right circumstances is a testament to the unpredictable nature of numismatics. It underscores the idea that true value often lies beyond what we see on the surface, tied instead to history, rarity, and emotional significance. As we delve deeper into the numbers, some reports claim that certain pristine 2011 pennies or error variants have been valued astonishingly high, with the most coveted examples reaching eye-watering sums at auctions and in private sales. While not every penny minted in that year is worth a fortune, the mystique around those rare pieces has undeniably elevated the 2011 penny's status within the collecting community. For anyone new to the world of coins, the story of the 2011 penny serves as both an inspiration and a cautionary tale. It shows that treasures can be hidden in plain sight, in the most ordinary places, but also that careful research, authentication, and grading are essential before assuming that any coin will command a massive price. Yes, you heard that right. $17 million for a single penny, transforming it from a humble copper-plated steel coin into one of the most talked-about rarities of the modern age. Think about that for a second. $17 million for a coin that once jingled in pockets, was passed from hand to hand for a loaf of bread or a newspaper.